we do this?
Okay, let's do this task.
Example.
Yes, so we have cost function, we have demand, and we should find Lagrange equilibrium. So we should find equilibrium quantity, price, and the number of firms. Yes, three things. Yes. So first of all, how to find equilibrium? We should cross market demand and market supply. We know market demand, we do not know market supply. To find market supply, we need to find individual supply function. Yes, so our first step, to find individual supply function in the long run. Yes, how we do it? 3 steps. Okay, 4 steps. First of all, write down profit maximization program. It's price multiplied by quantity, total revenue minus total costs, minus q square minus 9. This we should maximize by choosing quantity greater or equal than 0. Yes? Then 3 steps. First step, price should be equal to marginal costs. We calculate marginal costs. It's the first derivative out of total costs. And this is how much? 2q. Yes? Take the derivative 2q. From here, we express q because we need to find quantity as a function of the price. So from here, price equals to 2q. So quantity equals to price over 2. Yes? Then second step. We need to work on the upward sloping part of marginal costs. We see marginal cost 2q. Linear function with positive slope. Okay, you can take the derivative. It's 2 greater than 0. Okay, so we will find maximum, not minimum, of the profit. And the third step, for the long run, price should be greater or equal than minimum of average costs. Yes, price should be greater or equal than minimum of average costs. You should find average costs as total costs divided by quantity. How much on average, and this is how much? This q plus 9 over q. If quantity greater than 0, and 0 if quantity equals to 0. Yes. Then we should minimize average costs. You see, it's the linear function with positive slope plus hyperbola. You know how it will look like. Average cost like this, U-shaped. Yes, average costs. Here quantity. And we should find this point where we will have minimum of average costs. How to find it? The tangent line should be horizontal in this point. So the first derivative should be equal to 0. So take the derivative from average cost. This will be 1 minus 9 over q square and equalize it to 0 to find minimum. From here, we'll find that quantity equals to 3. If quantity equals to 3, so we will have minimum of average costs. Put this quantity into average cost function to find in dollars. Yes, minimum of average costs. So minimum of average costs. This is average costs if quantity equals to 3. Put here, this will be 3 plus 9 over 3. This is 6. Yes? And now we're ready to construct our long-run supply function of the firm. This will be quantity supplied in the long run as the function of the price. It is from first point, price over 2. If price greater or equal than 6 of minimum of average cost. And we will sell 0 if price less than 6. This is long run supply curve. Then this was our first step. Second step. What we know about long run equilibrium in the market? Equilibrium price equals to what? Please tell me. in long run. Each firm in the long run will have zero profit. Yes? When it is so, when equilibrium price equals to minimum of average costs. You remember it, I hope.
Yes, yes.
Price equals to minimum of average costs. And we counted it at 6. So this is long run equilibrium price. Then what we can find also? We can find total amount that will be bought and sold in the market. We should put this price into the demand function, into market demand function. This is the demand, market demand out of this price. This is 66 minus 60. What we can also find? Quantity that will be sold by one firm. How to find it? Please tell me the answer. How much will be sold by one firm for such price?
Um, 10?
By 10.
No?
We have individual supply curve. How much one firm will sell
Oh,
on the price?
is it 3? 3?
3, yes. So for price equals to 6, one firm will sell 6 over 2, 3. Yes. So put here. It is 3. Yes. And we know total amount and how much one firm sells. So we can find number of firms in the market. Yes, number of firms is total quantity over the quantity that is sold by one firm. It is 60 over 3. 20 firms we have in the market. So one more time, long run equilibrium, 3 things. Price equals to minimum of average costs. It is 6, such that the profit of each firm equals to 0. Then total amount that is bought and sold in the long run 60, and the number of firms equals to 20. Yes. And then, please, guys, questions about this standard approach. Where was where you had difficulties?
Well, what I did was I tried to find fixed cost and so on and so on. I think that I
But
just
we
misunderstood
don't have
everything.
costs in long run. Yes.
Yeah. So this 9 plus q squared in the beginning. So is it like 9 is the fixed cost and q? No.
We know what is fixed cost. Fixed costs, by definition, is our cost if we do not produce anything. Yes. If we do not produce anything, if we have some costs, if we have some fixed resources, yes, capital, things like this, so we should pay, even if we do not produce anything. But here you see, if we do not produce anything, our fixed, we do not have costs. Yes. And this 9, that's a good question. This 9, we say that this 9, so we should pay if we start production. Yes. We call it quasi-fixed costs, but they are not fixed. Quasi-fixed, like terminology, quasi-fixed.
And q squared is a marginal cost, variable cost, right?
No, here in this function, variable costs, all this q squared plus 9.
Mm-hmm.
They are all variable costs by our definitions. And here are 0. So, okay, let's continue this task. And then I give you another demand function, I think 62, yes, minus q, or not?
Let me have a look.
Please.
Yes, 62 minus p. And you also said that number of firms or integer or number of firms is
integer number of firms, целое число firm. Here we have 20 firms, integer, okay, no problems, yes? But for this demand function, let's see what we will have. So our price, individual supply function is the same for such demand, the same individual supply function. And let's see, the price equals to minimum of average costs equals to 6. And what about total amount? Put this price 6 into new demand function. This will be 62 minus 6. And this is how much? 56. Yes? And then quantity that will be each firm will produce. Put this price into quantity. It is 3. Yes? 6 over 2, it is 3. And when you divide 56 over 3, you will have not integer number of firms. So number of firms, if you will count like this, will be 56 over 3. It is, how much? Let's see. 18.7 approximately. But we cannot have like this number of firms. We cannot have this number of firms because we need to have 18 number of firms or 19. Yes, this one, no, not integer. So what are our options? So number of firms will be equal to 18 or 19. What you can tell me? What is the correct answer for number of firms? 18 or 19?
19.
19, yeah.
19? So let's see.
Oh, I didn't like that laugh. Why the laugh?
What we know about this number of firms when they are 18.7. When we have such number of firms, profit of each firm equals to 0, exactly 0. Yes? For 18.7, profit of each firm equals to 0, because price equals to minimum of average costs. And that means that profit equals to 0. Then, if we will have 19 firms, what will happen with profit of each firm?
It's gonna be, they're gonna lose money.
Yes.
Okay, so it's supposed to be 18 then, right? The correct answer is 18 because at 19 they begin losing money after 18.7. Okay.
Profit is when we have 19 firms, profit is less than 0 for each firm, and they have incentives to leave the market. Yes.
So they'll never be more than 18, I guess, firms, or at 18.7. In this case, how does that work if we have to analyze it? Because you cannot have 0.7 of a firm, right?
So our answer will be, so if we have 19 firms, firms have incentives to leave the market, and one of these firms leave the market, and now we have 18 number of firms. And when we have 18 firms, profit of each firm greater than 0. But why this is equilibrium number of firms? Because firms that are now not in the market, this 19th firm, how it thinks. If I will enter, if 19th firm will enter the market, what I will have? I will have negative profit. Yes? One more time. 19th firm in this situation, it sees positive profit. It wants to enter, but how it thinks? If I will enter, I will be 19th firm, and I will have negative profit. So I do not want to enter the market. Yes. So this is the equilibrium situation. This is the point here. Let's write down. But 19th firm will not enter the market as if it enters, then profit less than 0. So that's why number of firms 18 is equilibrium number of firms. Okay. When nobody wants to enter or leave the market, this is the equilibrium situation. But then we should recalculate all our things: quantity, price, quantity, and how much one firm will sell. We should recalculate for 18 number of firms. So for number of firms, we know that this is the equilibrium number of firms. The number of firms equals to 18. Recalculate equilibrium price, equilibrium quantity, and how much each firm will sell. How we will recalculate? Cross demand and supply. Now we know that market supply is equilibrium number of firms multiplied by individual supply function. Yes. This how much one firm wants to sell. This how much how many firms are there in the market. Agree? This is the total supply.
So total supply based. Okay, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. So, and this will be 18 multiplied by price over 2 if price greater or equal than 6, and 0 if price less than 6. I multiplied by 18. Yes. So this will be 9 multiplied by price if price greater or equal than 6, and 0 if price less than 6. Good. Mm-hmm. So, and now we are ready to cross demand and supply. So demand, market demand equals to market supply. Market demand 62 minus price equals to market supply at 9 multiplied by price. So price will be equal to what? 6.2, a little bit higher than 6. You see? 62 equals to 10 multiplied by price. 6.2, yes? And then for this price, we should calculate quantity, total quantity will be equal to what? Put into demand or supply, never mind. Yes, because quantities are equal. For example, 9 multiplied by 6.2. And this is 55.8. And then we can calculate how much each firm will sell. It will sell, okay, we can divide total quantity by the number of firms. 55.8 0.8 divided by 18. This is, let's calculate, 3.1. Also, you can calculate the profit of each firm and be sure that it is small but positive, because we have integer number of firms. Let's calculate it for you to be sure. Profit of each firm. Equilibrium price multiplied by equilibrium quantity minus total costs minus Q square minus 9. This is 6.2 multiplied by quantity, 3.1 minus 3.1 square minus 9. This is 0.61. And how we can have positive profit in the long run, because we have integer number of firms in this task. Okay. If we do not have in the task this phrase that you should have integer number of firms, then the number of firms will be 18.7 and profit of each firm will be exactly 0 in the long run. Okay. So, guys, please, questions about this part?
No, pretty clear.
Okay. So then we will not do today class 7, previous class. We will start Monopoly. And I have a video of the previous group where we did class 7. Okay, and you will watch class 7 in the recording. Okay.
Okay.
So, and with you, we start Monopoly, and the previous group will watch your video. So please open class 8. First task, let's read. Coca-Cola is the only producer of Coke Classic. Procter & Gamble is the only producer of Ariel. McDonald's is the only producer of Big Mac. And does this mean that all these firms are monopolies? Why or why not? Please.
No, not monopolies because they have a lot of alternatives.
So if no, because they all have close substitutes. Yes.
Yes.
Yep. This is the argument for no. Have a lot of close substitutes. Other arguments? Maybe somebody can say that yes, and why?
Well, I think that technically Coca-Cola is kind of a monopoly because there's only two big players on the market, Coca-Cola and Pepsi, and even though they are substitutes for them, they're still owned by only these two companies.
But if we speak about Pepsi and Cola, so we have two firms, and this is not monopoly, this is oligopoly.
Okay, oligopoly, yes.
But this is here.
For monopoly, yes. Okay, then no.
The price is an argument because they manage the price. I think they not how to say it, устанавливают charge.
Set.
Yeah, I think that Coca-Cola decides what's the price.
Yes, all these firms, they have a monopoly power. And my question is why they have this monopoly power. Okay, I will answer. But I think it was in the lecture. Why they can be, why we can say that they are monopolies for their precise product,
Because they created the product, because that's their original recipe and no one else knows how to create it. So they're the only one who can supply the product to the masses, and therefore there can be monopoly.
Yes. So if we here, if we speak about precise product, we can consider this market for Coca-Cola, only for Coca-Cola. Yes.
Well,
And
but
why?
doesn't Coca-Cola not fit into that because their recipe is not patented?
It is part of
No, it's not. If it is patented, they need to declare the recipe. Since they've never declared the recipe, it's not patented.
But their recipe is hidden. No, but
It's hidden. But if we find out about it, we can make it.
Please try. But now, when nobody knows the recipe, yes, we can say that it's monopoly. And this is the argument about hidden.
Does it mean that Krabsburger is monopoly because no one knows the recipe of Krabsburger?
Yes, yes. We can speak about a hidden recipe, or if officially, then maybe about patent. Yes, maybe. Patent.
But patents also do expire eventually, right? With inability to continue them.
If you have patent, I think you have right to produce the product for 1 or 2 years for some period, and then everybody can copy it officially after some period of time. But that's not our.
Sure, got it. No, just question. Thank you.
Roman, you have some question, or you?
No, I want to say yes because this market is highly barriered, and it's very unlikely that a small firm that enters like the straight segment of Coca-Cola and Pepsi will succeed because they have a lot more money in terms of advertisements and other structures.
It's about scale, yes.
Yes, they like a high economy of scale.
It's about scale. Good argument. Thank you. So, and about no, if we say that, for example, Ariel has a lot of close substitutes, we can say that this is about monopolistic competition market. This monopolistic competition. If we speak about Coca-Cola and Pepsi, this we call oligopoly. Yes, not a lot of firms. Oligopoly. If we say that not a lot of substitutes, then oligopoly. But anyway, here and here we have substitutes and other firms that can that produce some product that is similar, yes, to our. That's why it's not monopoly, but some of these markets monopolistic competition or oligopoly. Okay. Then what also we should write down. Maybe we can say also about monopolistic competition when we have a lot of substitutes, but why it is competition and why it is monopoly plus competition. It's about this
competition between different monopolies,
between firms, and how and why they are stay to be a little bit monopolies in this market. If we speak about Ariel, Tide, or something like this, about this laundry laundry detergent? Roman?
Maybe because in that way they will receive more financing to improve their products. For example, in terms of research and development, maybe having. What is the specific question? Can you ask again?
So in the market of laundry detergents, we have a lot of different detergents. Yes, so Tide, Ariel, I don't know, Persil, blah blah blah. You know, yes. But why we have a lot of close substitutes? Yes, in the market. So that's why it's competition. But why we can say that each brand is a little bit monopoly. Why each brand has its own monopolistic power, monopoly power? Please?
Maybe because of specific characteristics of each product, they differ in some sense.
Yes,
I don't know, you cannot make exactly identical types of deterrents.
Yes, and that's why, because they have a little bit different recipes. They have a little bit, they have different advertisements, yes, and something like that. That's why they have loyal clients. It's demand side, yes. So
is it connected to people more than to the product if we're talking about advertisement and categories of people who use it?
Yeah, it's about so in monopolistic competition, brands they pay a lot of money. They spend a lot of money on advertisement, yes. So on brand loyalty, and they you understand this. That's why
Yes.
all these brands
So
they have
targeting
loyal
based.
clients, and that's why we can say that. They are a little bit monopolists. That's why they have monopoly power. So here, loyal clients. What means loyal clients? If, for example, Tide has loyal clients, and if the price for Tide will increase, these loyal clients, they will not switch to other substitute. Yes, that means loyalty. They will pay more, and that's why. And that means monopoly power. We can increase the price, and we will know that not a lot of people will switch to other product. They will buy. They will continue to buy. That's why we have this ability to increase the price. This is about monopoly power. Ability to set the price higher than costs, higher than marginal costs.
So they have the power to control it, as Roman said, because they control the segment.
Yeah.
They have their own primary segment. All of different brands, they have their own segments that they control.
Yes, and they work a lot with their demand, with the demand.
But
Yes.
sorry, is the question. At the same time, in the monopolistic competition, there is no high barriers. Am I right? Because in the monopoly, it's quite impossible to enter. Okay.
Yes, in monopoly, nobody can enter. Yes, because it's only one firm, and barriers they are. It's very hard to make from monopoly or oligopoly. Yes, but in monopolistic competition, that's why it's competition. I can make my own laundry detergent and go and sell it and start selling it. Yes. Okay, Roman, you want to add something?
I want to ask, can you call Nike and Adidas oligopolies or not?
One more time.
Can you call Nike and Adidas sort of an oligopoly in terms of sportswear?
Yes.
Yes. Nike, Adidas, Reebok, big firms, and we have not a lot of such big firms. That's why it's oligopoly market. Yes. If we have two firms, it's duopoly. Duopoly. It's all about oligopoly. But we will speak about oligopoly in next class. So let's start to speak about monopoly, please. Okay.
Excuse me, I have a question. What is written below yes, precise product, and then precise market?
Yes, precise product, precise market, yes.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Sec. So let's continue and start to solve analytical tasks about monopoly. So one more time, monopoly is the market when we have a lot of buyers, but only one seller. This is the definition. And that's why our firm, one firm in the market, it has monopoly power. Yes. So let's start with my phone. Number 2. Consider a monopoly with constant marginal and average costs equals to 0.5 that faces the following market demand function. Market demand 1 minus price. Point A. We should draw a graph with the demand and marginal cost curves, derive the expression for marginal revenue, and add the marginal revenue to your graph, marginal revenue. So let's start to draw. Here will be quantity Q capital Y, because we have only one firm and it sells to the market. Only one firm sells, yes. And here price or dollar. And here market. Market demand 1 minus P, linear function with negative slope. Yes, if price is equal to 0, quantity equals to 1, and vice versa. If quantity is equal to 0, price is equal to 1. So we start from here. This is the demand. Name the line, please. Do not forget. And marginal costs, they're equal to average costs and equal to 0.5, it's constant. For each quantity, we have same marginal costs. So 0.5, it's here. Horizontal line. Marginal costs equals to average costs. Okay? I hope it's not super hard. Yes? So, okay. We should find marginal revenue. So to find marginal revenue, we should find total revenue. Yes. Total revenue, you remember, it's price multiplied by the quantity. But here, when we spoke about perfect competition, for each perfectly competitive firm, price was constant. Yes? Because in perfectly competitive market, there are a lot of firms, and firms are price takers. They cannot control the price. They take it as given. So price was constant. But now we speak about monopoly, and that's the main here. Now we speak about monopoly. Monopolist, it's the only one firm in the market. Yes, that's why monopolist is the price setter. It controls the price. Yes, monopolist sets the price. Agree? So here we will not have constant price. Here we will have what? Our monopolist, it controls all the demand, all the market, all the demand belongs to our one firm. Agree? All the demand, all clients. So that's why here we will have not price constant, but inverse demand function. Inverse demand function. Why? Because monopolist controls the demand. By definition, inverse demand function, it is the maximum willingness to pay of our buyers. Right. So here, inverse demand function multiplied by the quantity. Total revenue is the function of the quantity here. So we have a demand function. How to find inverse demand function? Express price, and that's all from demand. It will be what? 1 minus Q. And put this inverse demand function, this inverse demand function, put this price into total revenue. Total revenue equals to 1 minus Q multiplied by Q. Right now. You can open the brackets. This will be Q minus Q squared. But you see that total revenue is quadratic function, graph parabola branches down. You know this function, yes? But we are asked to find marginal revenue. Marginal revenue. How to find marginal revenue? What I should do?
Find the derivative of total revenue.
Yes, exactly. So this is the derivative on total revenue. This is the change in total revenue when we increase the quantity. Yes, when we change the quantity by definition. So take the derivative. This will be 1
2Q
minus 2Q. Yes, 1 minus 2Q. And you see that marginal revenue is a little bit similar to inverse demand function. In inverse demand function, 1 minus Q, and here 1 minus 2Q. Yes? So also linear function with negative slope, but the slope is 2 times steeper, 2 times steeper slope. So how to construct marginal revenue on the graph? If quantity is equal to 0, by 2 dots. If quantity is equal to 0, marginal revenue equals to 1. So we start from here. And if marginal revenue equal to 0, quantity equal to how much? 1/2. Yes, to make marginal revenue 0. So quantity equals to 1/2 when marginal revenue become equal to 0. So is it 2 times steeper than demand? See? And marginal revenue, we continue to the negative part. Why? Because marginal revenue is the change in total revenue. And the change in total revenue can grow, and then total revenue decreases because it's quadratic function.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Yes.
Why 1/2? Because we put 0 instead of quantity, then 2 multiplied by 0 is 0.
If quantity equals to 0, marginal revenue equals to 1. Yes?
Yes.
And when marginal revenue equals to 0, when 1 minus 2Q equals to 0. This one equals to 1/2. Yes?
Yeah.
Marginal revenue we count in dollars. Yes, it's revenue increase, the change in revenue. Yes, and we count it in dollars. So the increase or the change in total revenue equals to 0 when quantity equals to 1/2. This point.
Okay, thank you.
So okay, and we continue marginal revenue into the negative part because it's only the change in total revenue. It can be negative. But demand, we never continue to the negative part. It's a mistake. So, okay, then. Point B. Find the profit maximizing levels of output and price and illustrate them on your graph. So, let's do it analytically and then put in the graph. So, we should find profit of the monopolist and maximize it. Profit maximization program, as always. Profit maximization program of the monopolist. Total revenue minus total costs. Yes, profit. But now we know that total revenue is not a price constant multiplied by quantity, but inverse demand function multiplied by quantity. Here total cost, sorry, total cost. How to find total cost? We know that average cost equals to 0.5, so total cost 0.5 multiplied by quantity. You can put here all your numbers. Total revenue Q minus Q square minus 0.5 Q. And this we should maximize by choosing quantity greater or equal than 0. First derivative out of profit should be equal to 0. Take the derivative. Total revenue minus total cost. Take the derivative. This is the derivative from total revenue, it's marginal revenue, minus the derivative from total cost, it's marginal cost. And this should be equal to 0. So our first condition that marginal revenue should be equal to marginal cost. Yes? I hope you know it. We can count it. Marginal revenue equals to marginal cost. 1 minus 2Q equals to 0.5. This is how much? So quantity equals to what?
0.25.
0.25. Yes. So this is the quantity that monopolist will sell. And then we should ask, and then the monopolist should set the price. What will be the price that monopolist will sell?
0.75.
1 minus 0.25.
Yes. Monopolist can set the highest possible price, and the highest possible price for monopolist. What is the limit upward? What is the limit upward? It's the demand. Yes, it's maximum willingness to pay for this quantity, for this amount. So we should put this quantity into demand function, into inverse demand function, to find the maximum willingness to pay for such amount. So put this into inverse demand function, and this will be 1 minus 0.25. This is 0.75. Let's do it on the graph. What we do on the graph. You see, marginal revenue equals to marginal cost, and from this condition we find quantity. Marginal revenue cross marginal cost were in this point, and from here we find quantity. Quantity equals to 0.25. Then we put this quantity into inverse demand function, into maximum willingness to pay. So we put this quantity where? Into demand. Here, into demand, and find the price. 0.75. This price, kilogram price. But that's not all how to solve, because we should check if we found maximal profit to minimal, and then if we want to shut down or not. But okay, let's write it one time. So to find maximum profit, the second derivative should be less or equal than 0. Yes, take this derivative. Marginal revenue prime minus marginal cost prime should be less or equal than 0. What that means? The slope of marginal revenue should be less or equal than the slope of marginal cost. And from the graph, you see the slope of marginal revenue is negative. The slope of marginal cost is 0. So that's true. That's true. Here, the slope of marginal revenue is minus 2, less or equal or less than the slope of marginal cost is 0. Okay. So we found maximum. This was the second order condition. And the last condition, we should check that our profit from our quantity should be greater or equal than the profit if we do not produce anything. The profit, if we produce our 0.25, we can put it, we can count it, and we will see that it is non-negative. For monopolies, that's true. So profit is how much? Price, equilibrium price, multiplied by equilibrium quantity minus total costs. Yes, minus 0.5 multiplied by quantity, and this is 0.75 minus multiplied by 0.25 minus 0.5 multiplied by 0.25, and this is 0.25 square. This is greater than 0. So monopolist has positive profit, because if monopolist does not produce anything, his profit is in this task is 0. Yes, put here 0, 0, 0, 0. Yes. So okay, it will stay and produce. It will not shut down. This is a strict solution with all these checks. 1, 2, 3. And also we can show on the graph the profit of monopolist. Let's see where it is. One more time. Profit of monopolist is price multiplied by quantity minus average cost multiplied by quantity. Yes. And this is price minus average cost multiplied by quantity. Average cost we see on the graph, it's constant 0.5, price is 0.75. So this difference is profit margin. Yes, and when we multiply by quantity, so this rectangle, this is the monopoly profit of monopolist. You see? So this price 0.75, average cost constant 0.5, quantity 0.25. On the graph, this one. This is the profit of monopolist. Yes? Then see subsidy. Okay. Guys, please questions about this. This is standard how to solve for monopoly and how to show on the graph. Okay. So I'll raise it. We'll continue. See. The government introduces a per unit subsidy of S on the firm's output. Per unit subsidy. Yes. At what level should it set S to maximize social welfare? Such that social welfare will be maximized. Who can answer? Who can tell me the answer? Maybe.
When we from 0.75 minus 0.5.
Yes. What means maximal social welfare? Maximal social welfare when the market is perfectly competitive and the government does not intervene. This is the situation of maximal social welfare. So maximal social welfare when we have perfect competition, and government does not intervene. So consumer surplus plus producer surplus will be maximized. One more time, social welfare, it's consumer surplus plus producer surplus. Surplus of consumers plus surplus of producers. Then, what we know about perfect competition? What is the condition for the price for perfect competition? In perfect competition, price equals to what for each firm? First order condition for each firm in perfectly competitive market.
Costs or average cost?
Marginal cost. You remember when we maximize profit for each perfectly competitive firm, price was equal to marginal cost. Yes, but average only in long run, and here we have short run. Price equals to marginal costs. So if we will have perfect competition, not monopoly. If we have a lot of firms, price will be equal to marginal costs. And here, so for perfect competition, it will be equal to 0.5. Yes, this is the equilibrium price in perfect competition. Yes, so to make this price, and monopolists have 0.75. To make this price, government should set the subsidy, this difference. Yes, this is the price for monopoly. This is the price for perfect competition. So subsidy should be this difference between these two prices. So price of monopolist should be subsidy plus marginal costs here, plus 0.5. So subsidy should be 0.75 minus 0.5, it's 0.25. Such that social welfare will be maximized. Okay, then why in the situation with monopoly social welfare is not maximized? Because we have only one firm, and only one firm, this monopolist, it sells less than in perfectly competitive market and for higher prices. That's why it's the loss for the society. Let's show it on the graph. So before, when we had perfect competition, what we had, this was the demand, this was marginal costs. Cross the demand with marginal cost, this is quantity in perfect competition, and this was price in perfect competition. Yes. What we can say about consumer surplus? Surplus of consumers. Each consumer, for our consumers, for example, the first unit, they were willing to pay for the first unit very, very high price, maximum willingness to pay, but they paid only equilibrium price. So they like this difference. They paid less than their maximum willingness to pay. So they like this difference. This difference goes to their surplus. They paid less than they were ready to pay. So by definition, consumer surplus is the area under inverse demand function and above the price that consumers pay. This is the consumer surplus. What about producer surplus? Producer surplus here equals to 0. Why? Because the profit, if we have marginal costs equal to average cost in perfect competition, and price also, yes, the same. Price equals to average cost. So producer surplus equals to 0. Yes. Producer surplus here equals to 0. Why? Because price in perfect competition here in this example equals to average costs. So profit of each firm equals to 0, and producer surplus is the sum of profits of all firms. Producer surplus is the sum of profits of all firms that are present in the market. So, and social welfare is the sum of surpluses of all economic agents that are present in the market. In perfectly competitive case, social welfare is what? Is consumer surplus plus producer surplus, because we have consumers and producers. If we will have government intervention, then we should put here plus surplus of government also, because government is also an economic agent. If it intervenes, so here will be one more surplus of government. So compare this situation. So in perfect competition, social welfare that consists of here consumer surplus plus producer surplus equals to 0. So this big triangle is social welfare right now. When we have perfect competition, it is the highest social welfare that we can have. Compare it with this situation, with monopoly situation. What you can see, producer surplus now is positive because it's the profit of monopolist. This rectangle, yes, red one. Yeah, this is the producer surplus. What about consumer surplus? Consumer surplus is less than before because consumers, they are worse, so they pay more, yes, and buy less. So this triangle under the demand and above the price that consumers pay, this is the consumer surplus.
So we have lost, am I right? Like in this triangle in the right, yeah?
Yes. This is the producer surplus. Producer surplus here equals to profit of monopolist because we have only one firm, yes? And this is positive. And deadweight loss, the loss of the society, is the difference between best social welfare and what we have actually now. So society have losses because of monopolization of the market. So this triangle, society loses, and this is deadweight loss. Deadweight loss is social welfare when we have perfect competition minus social welfare if we have monopoly. It's only for this task. It's loss of the society, losses of the society. And in our task, what the government wants to do? Our government wants to set a subsidy such that price will be as in perfect competition for not having this deadweight loss. But we will have deadweight loss. I will show you right now what government did, and we will stop. You can calculate this deadweight loss, this triangle, the area of this triangle. You can calculate how much your society loses. But let's see one more time. Here quantity, here dollar. Here marginal cost equals to average cost.
But is it possible to leave because the seminar is finished? Is it okay to?
1 minute, I will show. No, stop. So this is the price of monopolist. This is the price in perfect competition. This is quantity for monopolist. This is the quantity if here will be perfect competition. When our government set the subsidy, government spendings for subsidy will be subsidy multiplied by the quantity that we will sell. Subsidy is this difference. So subsidy multiplied by this quantity. So this big area is all government spendings. Yes? and we will have this we'll have here the weight loss. Okay, let's start from this point in this graph the next time. We'll take photo to remember from what to start.
Okay, thank you.
So guys, let me check who was answering today. Stop recording.